Hey authors, welcome to Author Nation. I am Melody Ann, and in this video we are going to be talking about first lines and last lines. If you're telling a story, whether it's an entire memoir or a short story within your book or your oral storytelling, you need a good first line, you need a good last line. That's what we're talking about today. So first lines and last lines. Your first line makes a promise, and it's what pulls the audience into your book. The last line ensures the promise is fulfilled, brings closure for the teller and the audience, and makes sure everyone knows that the story is clearly over. Sometimes it's hard to know when a story ends and it just seems to drop off a cliff. This is a bad ending. Let's start with first lines. So first lines. A great way to start a first line is to start with a question. Whether you actually ask a question with a question mark at the end, or whether it's an implicit question. Another great way is to make a promise. Again, you don't say, I promise that. You make a statement that it's clear. Create intrigue. Arouse their curiosity. Or start with creating tension. I didn't know whether I was going to live that day or not. Right? Create tension. Give them a scene they can step into. If you haven't seen my video about sensory experience, go check that out. That'll help you create a scene, a whole thing they can feel and see and smell that you can bring into, right? Use sensory experience. That's a great way. Just use that, what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you can touch. Open up with your emotions or their emotions. You want to open them up. That's one thing you want to do at the beginning. You want to just get them ready. Give them a vision. Give them the details of a vision. Again, that's part of sensory experience, right? Surprise them. Say something that's surprising, right? Here's a surprising line. I love Jack. He's been my best friend for 18 years, but he's now dealing with doggy dementia. And I love to make sure he's living his best life, and that means road trips. So I love Jack. He's been my best friend for 18 years. You might think that's a human, but then you say, but now he's dealing with doggy dementia. It's like, oh, surprise, it's a dog, not a human, right? Give them a taste of what's to come. Drop your audience into the middle of a scene or the middle of a monologue or dialogue. Start with an image. Start with intensity, or start with the ending, which is a circling back technique, which we'll talk about in another video. Subscribe so you don't miss that one. I haven't put it up yet. Last lines. Always start with an ending in mind. Not when you're first crafting the story, but when you discover your why, make sure that you know why you're telling the story, and that you can kind of wrap that up. There are lots of ways to end a story. You want to make sure you tie up loose ends. You leave your audience hopeful, and you leave them looking into the future, not wallowing in the past. You could end with an epiphany. You could have a plot twist or a reveal. There could be a tragedy, a surprise ending. You could end with a reflection. You can start a story with something and then come back to that as the ending, so you can come full circle. Make sure there are no loose strings unless it's on purpose. Nothing can follow the end, right? All the questions are answered. Everything is answered unless you're intentionally leaving something open. When you want to leave the ending of a story open, make sure the audience knows that you are leaving it open for them to interpret or decide the ending. You don't get to the end of the book and you're like, you didn't tell us this part. You didn't tell us this part. And you get mad because it's like, I wanted to know what happened to Bill. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do something like that, not wrap something up, that they know that that's what you're doing. And you don't have to be very explicit about it. Implicit is good too. Think about your first line, hooking them in, giving them something strong to start. This visual tension, sensory experience, it's emotional. Start with action, make a promise, give them a vision, surprise them, give them a taste of what comes. Just give them something like, ooh, what's coming, what's going to happen? I want to hear this story. And at the end, you want them to go, okay, yeah, that was a great story. You want that satisfied feeling. Whether you reveal the ending, or it's a surprise ending, or you reflect, or you come full circle, you just tie up all the loose ends, you have an epiphany. You want the audience to have that with you, and just have that, yes, okay, and to know it's over. So know your last line, know your first line, know your last line, and make sure that they're clear beginnings and endings to any story you tell, whether oral storytelling, or you're writing a story, or it's an entire memoir. First lines and last lines are some of the most important lines in the book. If you'd like more on storytelling, subscribe to the channel, and go check out the storytelling playlist.